Hello, I am Joanna Clark with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I am here for another WO3 Connect interview. And today I have Lisa Duerre of the RLD Group. I'm so excited to be interviewing Lisa. She is a phenomenal female entrepreneur. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Joanna, thank you for having me and for shining a light on women-owned business leaders. It's so important, and I just feel so honored to be here with you today. I'm really, really grateful.
Exactly. This is my annual gratitude project for my brand, which is to partner, promote, and support female-owned businesses. With the day culminating on March 25th, 2023. And we're just encouraging everybody to be thinking big in the month of March about how you can partner, promote, or support a female in business. So we're going to interview Lisa today, and I'm going to get all the scoop on her. And then we're going to brainstorm some ways that you can actually think about how you can partner, promote, and support another female-owned business. So Lisa, first of all, tell me what RLD Group is. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve? So that my audience knows more about you.
Well, RLD Group stands for Rebooting Leadership Drive. And who am I? I'm the CEO and co-founder of this amazing woman-owned certified boutique consulting firm. And we help tech leaders and tech organizations do three things. Let me put my fingers up. Three things. Take culture transformation out of the clouds. That's a little bit cheeky, but it's real because we're talking about humans inside the system. So take culture transformation out of the clouds, eradicate burnout in tech.
Yes.
No small things here, Joanna.
Yeah.
And the last thing is drive bottom line results. Because when you have a team and an organization that is thriving, not burnt out, and that the culture is values aligned and human first, you're going to drive bottom line results. So that's what we do. That's who we are. I'm a mom. I became a mom at 43. I gave birth to my daughter at the ripe old age of 43 in the midst of my executive career in tech. And I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I'm a woman on a mission.
Yeah, Woman on a Mission with, by the way, the most amazing podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us all the name of your podcast, because this is a massively successful podcast on Apple and Spotify, wherever you find it, and it's all about leadership. And we're gonna be talking about leadership today and what the new paradigm is in leadership. But tell them the name of your podcast.
Oh, thank you for, I didn't even say I'm a podcast host, right? I'm so in this with you. Yes. Ctrl+Alt+Delete with Lisa Duerre is the name of the podcast. And it's really about the conversations exactly where we're going today, which is how do you be a leader in today's world without burning out? How do you keep culture alive? And how do you not lose yourself in the process?
Exactly. And you guys, it's burnout. That's like the key word here, right? So burnout is everywhere right now. And Lisa's really an expert on helping leaders not burn out. So tell us what is going on in the world of leadership right now, because things are absolutely changing. This idea where you're in the office, 5 days a week, all day long with your team is no longer. This fusion of half Zoom or Google Meetup and half in the office is still discombobulated. So what is happening in the world of leadership right now? What are people talking about, and what are you guiding your clients on?
Yeah, Joanna, it's such an important topic right now. So I think, I don't even remember, 2 weeks ago, I spoke at the CIO Future Work Summit on this topic. And what I want to say is that we have multiple things colliding. The first that's colliding is just the generational differences inside organizations, right? You've got the native analogs and the native digitals all trying to work together. Then you've got the working parents or caregivers who are trying to still straddle what was working for them, which was being remote more, right? And on top of it, you've got all of the pressure with banks imploding, layoffs, the social contagion of layoffs. And
Yes.
on top of it all, you've got each individual in that system trying to find their way every day in the world that is now being described as Bonnie. And Bonnie, I'll show you a visual support.
Yeah, I've never heard this. Okay, the world
Yeah, so
described as
people used to talk
Bonnie.
about VUCA. VUCA is now Vamoose. Let's see if you,
Okay.
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 So where we are now is the world is really more brittle than we've ever allowed ourselves to see. Everybody is feeling more anxious than we've ever allowed ourselves to admit. It is nonlinear. There is not a straight line to any solution anymore, right? And as a matter of fact, it's incomprehensible in many ways. What Bonnie really is showing us is the illusions that we had been living under, which was we thought we could control things and we had all the answers. So RLD Group believes that the future is firm, and our model is to help leaders figure out how to be flexible when they can, how to tap into their internal knowing or their intuition and their gut, how to figure out what resilience looks like for themselves, their teams, their business, and also to be mindful. And that's not mindful like just a yoga class. It's mindful and intentional about how you communicate, how you connect when you're remote from each other, what policies you're setting in place, how are you managing your own stress and your burnout. And so fundamentally what's happening in leadership right now is that the world's upside down and nobody has all the answers. And some people are really uncomfortable not having all the answers, so they're shutting down and controlling more. The others are expanding and realizing that as a system, whether it's a team, an organization, a community, a world, the wisdom is inside the system, and we need to connect our hearts and align them with what we already know from the best of what was, so we can get to what is, so we can really unlock what could be.
Right.
And that's the future.
Yeah, I think that that is just paramount, what you just said, that we can take the best of what was, acknowledge what is, and unlock what is possible. Because if we're not following that kind of sequence and recognizing that's where we are, then we're just going to get stuck in no man's land, which is the I guess the land of Bonnie, right? BANI, right? We're in this, we're brittle, we're anxious, we're what does N stand for?
Non-linear.
Non-linear and incomprehensible, which is such a great word because we do. I mean, most families I'm talking to, again, you know, I'm a baby sleep coach. And so I'm talking to, you know, dual income working parents that are sleep deprived and overwhelmed. And every single client call I'm on, their phones are buzzing, they're getting interruptions. The caregiver didn't show up that day. You know, I mean, it's incredible. It's just incomprehensible, the amount of confusion and overwhelm just the day-to-day lifestyle of the new working environment is causing, on top of then also trying to be a mom. So I love the fact that you guys are really, really helping change the leadership model and really calling out what the problem is, because I think when people use the word leadership, it's just like this, like what when you say, like, no one really knows even what it means anymore, really. And so you're defining what it means now.
I appreciate that so much, Joanna, because the thing that I think about your parents that you're talking about, not only are they leading their own lives and their careers, they're leading their homes and their families and the future generations. And we all know, even just weather, let's just talk about weather. It's brittle, anxious, nonlinear, incomprehensible. I've been seeing the videos. I know what California is like right now. We were without power one time for 9 days. How do you run a business, keep your family going, keep your mind straight, much less manage your own stresses? So it's not even just like the shareholders, it's the weather. It's the perhaps it's your child who's having a growth spurt and you've never had a child before. That feels Bonnie to me. I went through that, right?
Or they're a baby and they're going through a developmental milestone.
Exactly.
Wondering why they're crying, clingy, and cranky, skipping naps and waking up all night. That's Bonnie, because that's incomprehensible to you because your sweet baby is now just in milestone madness for like 2 to 3 weeks. Exactly.
And they're done that. Yeah. So I appreciate you asking the question, because I think we can all relate to it. As much as we work with organizations in tech, I know this to be true in my own home, and I know it's true around the world. This is the world that we're in right now.
Thank you so much for really spotlighting on that, right? Is that what we see in our organizations? We do see a reflection out inside our family life and inside our communities. So, so I love the work you're doing there. Now, Lisa is also a very multifaceted woman. There's lots of interesting things that Lisa is up to. So tell us about something about you that most people don't know, but is a real passion for you right now.
So something most people don't know that is a real passion for me is I am living with a disease known as lipedema. Most people hear that and they go, oh, is that lymphedema? Because I have a friend who had cancer and they're swollen. No, this disease is called lipedema. It affects 1 in 11 women, and it is hormonally impacted, meaning that what happens at puberty, pregnancy, and menopause affects this disease. So I'm passionate about shining a light on it, educating people about what it is. And I'm fascinated and really opening up to the intersection of the future of work and what that
Mhm.
looks like for people with chronic illness or physical disability. Um, Anyone that benefited from working remotely, who now is being asked to be back in the office. How do we articulate those needs, take the best of what was, what is, and what could be, so that whether you're living with lipedema like I am or something else, that you as a whole person can bring your best forward? For me, I spend 3 hours a day in a medical device with a pump that's actually helping my lymph system flow, because the lipedema has caused me to have lymphedema. And so if I had to be in the office all day, every day, I don't see a way right now that I could actually be in this medical device for my own health.
Right.
So I'm passionate about shining a light on it. I'm speaking at conferences regularly. And the reason I think that's important for this conversation is, in pregnancy, it
Mhm.
exacerbates for a lot of women. And
Mhm.
so if you've gone through pregnancy and all of a sudden your legs look bigger and you don't know why, the rest of your body looks the same, or perhaps you have ankle cuffs now and you didn't used to, you might think, oh, it's baby weight. Well, if it doesn't go away, there could be something else that people dismiss because they don't understand the disease.
Right. Right. And in fact, you were recently diagnosed, that you've been going through your whole life with this disease, and it's been moving through different progressions,
Yes,
undiagnosed, time and time again, undiagnosed, 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 until it got so hard that it was like the truth finally had to be revealed. And then, to your great dismay, that something that you could have known about 15 years ago or 20 years ago, where you could have been getting the support you needed, you wouldn't be at where you are now. So
exactly.
that's why Lisa is so passionate about this, is because she doesn't want any other female
Not on my
to
watch.
go not
Yeah.
on her watch, to go undiagnosed unnecessarily, when 1 in 11 women, you guys, that's an unbelievable statistic. 1 in 11 women are going to be affected with this, and it's a lifelong disease that needs attention and support.
Yeah.
And as Lisa said, it is triggered at times of hormonal shift for women. So puberty, pregnancy, menopause.
Yep.
Well, in my community, we're all moms that are having our first baby, second baby, third baby. Every pregnancy is a risk factor for this. And
Yep.
then for me, I'm moving towards menopause. That's a risk factor for me and my peer set. So if us women are not sharing these delicate topics that are gonna affect somebody we know, and the somebody I know is Lisa. So I'm out here thinking about, well, who else do I know
Mhm.
that has this, that isn't getting the support they need? So I'm just so proud of you, Lisa, for taking the opportunity to educate people and becoming involved with the organizations that are shining a light on this, because women's health is paramount, and there's so much change going on in women's health that we have to just keep standing tall to protect it.
I agree. I'm 100%. It's more than 100%. Wholeheartedly, infinitely. The thing that I know is that there is such a bias in society about obesity and weight and fat, especially in the medical community as well. It seems like it's like self-imposed and we could just control it. So I did spend a lifetime dieting and trying to find my way. I mean, Joanna, you knew me back when I did that 82-week medically supervised weight loss program, and my leg shape never changed and my upper arms never changed. And even then I didn't know that this was what was going on.
Right.
So it's an opportunity, I think, for me, as we're looking at women's months, right? We're shining lights on women-owned businesses. I think women's health is in that conversation too.
Absolutely.
And I think that the thing that's so important for all of us to know is that when you have a disease like lipedema, the biggest relief I got, it was the diagnosis, knowing that it wasn't something I did to myself.
Mhm.
And how good are we at beating up ourselves? So I lived a Bonnie world inside my own brain,
Right.
trying to figure out why I kept having these situations pop up. So yes, not on my watch. We're going to talk about it.
Yes.
We're going to
Yes.
name it, and we're going to point
Yeah,
people to some
we're going to
support.
talk, we're going to name it, And we're gonna have all the moms who have gone through pregnancy that are finding they can't lose the weight, and they've got the ankle cuffs, and what else? What are some other things they can look out for and kind of go, wait a second, this isn't right? What
Yes,
are some of the other?
call them like legs, if you will. I always used to say they were cankles for me, but it's call them like legs. A disproportionate amount of weight in one part of your body. So it's either your legs, your arms. I also have it in my, trying to come up with the right word, my butt. How about I just say butt, Joanna? Buttocks. It's
Okay.
in my buttocks.
What
Yes,
else?
I have it everywhere. I have the different places. So unable to lose weight, call them like legs, disproportionate weight carrying in certain areas, easy bruising, and
Oh,
painful to the touch. So like when my
interesting.
dog would get on my lap, I wanted to throw my dog off my lap. It hurt that bad. Someone hugging you, it hurts. So it's painful
Wow.
and it feels very heavy. So my legs, even the way I walk, it's very heavy.
Right, right. Okay. So, and I'm going to be posting all, in fact, there's a conference coming up. Can you talk about that? What is the date and the time of the conference that's coming up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm actually speaking. I'm sharing my story. It's from Lipedema Simplified. It's a heart-to-heart conference. It's at the end of March. We can put the link in here for sure. The thing that is great about it is it's the medical community, the patient community, and the ally community coming together to shine a light on lipedema and lymphedema. So
Oh,
I
good.
think that
Okay.
it's really good that because it affects, they're connected. They're just not the same. And the dates are, let me look at my calendar because I'm going to be like real time with you. So March 31st, it starts March 31st. It's virtual online and it runs through the weekend.
Okay. Excellent. So March 31st, for those of you free to register, right, Lisa?
I think there's a cost to register, but there's an early bird. It's not cost prohibitive in any means, but they need to cover the cost to be able to run the event. So
Okay.
there
We
is a
will make
cost.
sure that the links will be below, so that any of you, and again, forward to a friend. If it doesn't relate to you and you think it relates to one of your friends, let her know. We don't want her to be undiagnosed time and time again, and not have it happen until she's in her 50s when she could have been diagnosed in her 30s, right?
Yeah, it's a big difference to get diagnosed earlier on. But yeah, thank you for
Absolutely.
asking me for Lisa's fun fact. I have
Yeah,
one
Lisa's
either.
fun fact, but she's like she says, she's not shy of discussing hard things. And she says, not on my watch, right? That's why I love Lisa. She's just fearless. Okay, so Lisa, circling back to WO3 Connect and this passion that we have to acknowledge, to partner, promote, and support female-owned businesses, because we are the ones running the engine of this economy. We really are. And women-owned businesses tend to do incredible things on a daily basis that get unacknowledged. And so what I wanted to ask you is, who do you want to give a shout out to? I'm giving a shout out to you by interviewing you today, but I bet there are some other women-owned businesses that you really admire that you would love to give a shout out to.
For sure. Well, first of all, I want to give a shout right back at you, Joanna. You have helped me through my own journey of motherhood and sleep support. And I'm just going to shout you out to the rooftops. I mean, you are just modeling what it means to, raise everyone up by just bringing the energy. I think
Yes,
that's really important. So thank you for this platform, and to WO3 for really putting the energy behind this. It's a big deal.
it's a big deal.
Um, I think I want to shout out the RLD Group collective. So there are 20 female-owned businesses in our collective that provide support to our clients. We co-create solutions together. So I'd be remiss to not talk about the magic that happens with every one of these female-owned businesses that we work together to bring our services forward. There's another shout out I'll give, and I don't know where it lands, but it's also a recommendation, if I might. Sherry Torres and Jackie Stavros wrote a book called Conversations Worth Having. I'll hold it up
Yeah,
real quick and
yeah,
just
hold
show
it
you.
up. Yep, so we can see it. Okay,
Yep,
so let's look
it
at
looks like
this.
this. Conversations Worth
Conversations
Having.
worth having. Okay, and what's the can you read the
Tagline:
byline? Yeah, the tagline.
using appreciative inquiry to fuel productive and meaningful engagement.
Okay.
So what they wrote about in here, and the reason I want to shout it out, is it's based on the premise of the questions we ask ourselves are the filters in which we see the world. So sleep deprived parents, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get my baby to sleep? Joanna, you and I both know the answer is there's nothing wrong with you,
Right.
right? There's nothing wrong with you. It's either there's something that needs to be corrected or redirected. So if the question is what's wrong with me, that's already depreciative state. But if the question is, how might we get a better night's sleep? How might we leverage our strengths? How might we work together? That changes the game, right? So even in your lane, and so this book gives you a play-by-play on how to, what they call flip it, to change the question toward what you want it to be versus what you think it is. They're on my podcast, so I would highly recommend listening to them, getting the book. But Sherry and Jackie, in my mind, this book is what everybody needs in order to navigate Bonnie through the lens of how do we flip the questions we're asking so that we can navigate this at our highest and best.
Yes.
Instead of just beating ourselves up in the depreciative state of what's wrong with me and why can't I cope and why is this so hard and when will it ever stop? It's not going to stop.
Not going to stop.
It's not going to stop. So change your question.
I know, change your question. I love this because you know what? I mean, as women, like it is unbelievable how repetitive, sometimes unconscious thoughts take us down a rabbit hole, and then we end up grumpy, irritated, or filled with self-doubt or filled with guilt. And we somehow in like less than 30 seconds ended up in that state without maybe even understanding the repetitive unconscious thought. Yeah. But if we can get good at noticing the thought or noticing the question that we're asking ourselves, and then think of a new way to ask the question, then maybe we don't get down that yucky rabbit hole into self-doubt and guilt, which is where most women live. I mean, most of the moms I'm talking to are riddled with self-doubt and guilt, completely and utterly unnecessarily.
Yep.
That the fact that their child is having sleep challenges is not a reflection on their mothering. It's not a reflection on how organized or disorganized they feel on a daily basis. It's not a reflection on the fact that they're working too little or too much. It simply is all about the child's sleep skills and or lack thereof. And so when I start to help a mom recognize that, and again, essentially without even realizing I'm doing it, I'm flipping the question.
You do it all the time.
I'm flipping it, and they're all like,
nights and
you mean it's not my fault?
Exactly.
I didn't do anything wrong. You mean I haven't created something that's now forever going to have an impact on me and my parenting or my husband or whatever? And I'm like, no, this is all fixable. So I love this. I need this book. So I'm glad. See, this is what's so fun in these interviews is I find out new stuff. And you know me, Lisa, I am just forever curious and wanting to know new things. So that's an awesome shout out. And I know you had another shout out, I think.
Yeah. Well, so that one, just make sure you watch the podcast or get the book, Joanna, and then just give it to every one of your parents. Cause I'm telling you, the minute you have less guilt and you can get into a generative state of what becomes possible, there's hope. Yes, and that's the same with lipedema. The minute I was like, it's my fault, I did this or I did that. And the minute I turned it, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know what to do. Flip it, right? And then community. So one of the shout outs I want to give is Lipedema Simplified's community. You called out the event. Thank you. They have an amazing community that in my mind is a women-led business with a women's health issue filled with women.
Yeah.
We have to shout them out because one of the things I know is that in the Bonnie world, one of the ways to manage our stress is what's called tend and befriend.
Yes.
And I think you do that with your clients every day, Joanna. You tend and befriend them where they're at. So Lipedema Simplified does that.
Amazing.
It'll also help you rise to the challenge, how to have the tough conversation when your doctor doesn't believe in you, how to tell your spouse you can't stand in the kitchen for 10 more minutes and cook one more meal, how to ask for, whatever disability support you need. So rise to the challenge and tend and befriend, I think are two solutions to what's happening in the world today. And I learned those from Kelly McGonigal, all about stress, but they tie so nicely to what you do with your clients. And I think what WO3 is doing is they're tending and befriending, and they're asking everyone to rise to the challenge and support these women-owned businesses and shout it out to the rooftops and also understand the impact of you doing that. So yeah, thank you for letting me call that out.
Yes, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, this has been a pure delight. I've learned so much today. I want to live in a firm world, flexible, intuitive,
resilient, mindful.
Yep. That's the world I want to be living in. No more Banny. Out.
Bye-bye, Bonnie. Right?
Bye-bye, Bonnie. Oh, yeah, Bonnie. Bye-bye, Bonnie. I'm in
Hello,
with the
firm.
firm. I'm in with the firm, and we're rising to the challenge, and we're tending and befriending, and we're recognizing, thank God we're women, and we are here to support each other. So thank you so much, Lisa. Such a pleasure.
Joanna, thank you so much.